everyone and welcome to Lakeside. And been a good week this week. I've managed to put in 3 buildings which have got lights now, which includes the timber frame building, the bank, the large bank, and the station building. And I've managed to use up virtually all the lights I got from Kite's Lights on the weekend I went to the Gets exhibition at Milton Keynes, and it's gone in really nicely. I'm very pleased with it. The lighting is just right for me anyway, and I've got variation of different colours, different brightnesses for different applications, so it's worked out really well. I've also installed the police car now, so that's on. Probably it's now getting to a situation where I'm going to have to start thinking about switches for lights and accessories and so forth, but I'm not going to do that yet because I want to get it all working first and then look at it and find out where I want a bank of, say, probably about 4 switches, I would think, so I can just turn them on and off when I want, rather than what they are now, which is permanently on when I power up the track and the bus bar underneath for the accessories. So that's a job to do. What else? I've done a temporary wire up of the servo for the lift, and I'll show you that shortly. So it's primarily been mainly all electrics really, what I've been doing this week. So I'll turn the camera off and we'll have a look round and see what we've done. Okay, so bye for now. Hello again. Right, so in front of you you see the extent of the lighting which I've done. So the timber frame building is now powered up and lit, along with the bank and the police car who's stopped that lady in the white BMW, and so they're investigating her after pulling her over. So I've got the cinema to light up, plus this selection of shops here, the sales showroom for Kingsway Motors, plus the car park. And if we roll along, I've then got to do the department store, plus this set of shops as well, which obviously I'm going to change the name of because it's a replica of what's down the other end. So I can do that at the same time as lighting the inside. So it's gradually getting there. Oh, and I've got this building up the end here too. I should light that up. As regards the station building, this is now lit fully. So I've got a nice little light over the top of the door where the porter is, so he can see his way in the dark. I've got a light up here. You can just see a little bit of light bleed just there, which powers a light which shines down on the lift and through that aperture which you can see to light up the lift. I've got lighting underneath that area there, and the building here is obviously lit, and I've put black tack around the bottom to seal the bottom edge so that I don't get any light bleed from that. I will be putting in a black and white checkered floor right the way throughout this building. Black and white is quite a nice colour scheme, especially checkered for Art Deco buildings. So I shall print a black and white sheet of tiles out and place that there eventually. Yeah, so the lighting itself I think has come out really nice. I've got a brighter light, whiter light as well in the front of the bank with khaki colour rather than warm white for the rest of the building. With the timber frame, that's all khaki which I think works well. And in here is a selection of khaki and bright white. And I've knocked it down a bit with a resistor so it's not quite as bright. It may come out too bright on the video, but in reality, I mean, that building over there looks like it's virtually on fire really, but when I'm viewing it in real life it's not like that at all. It's quite a nice light. Same with the police cars, or police car. That's looking quite bright and vivid, but this camera is picking up and accentuating the light. But it's okay, it looks good. So along with the escalator now lit, I still have this one to light up. Then that platform is virtually now ready for covering. I've got some lamps, station lamps to put in, and if we walk along here, I don't know if you're able to see it, but I'll try. I've now powered up the Art Deco signal box, and if I zoom in, see if I can get the right angle, there we go. You can see the signal man there with his control panel in front of him. So that's now lit permanently on the platform. I say permanently, I mean I can lift it off for when I come to do the covering, which I've got to get. The Class 800, that's still an ongoing situation. As you know, I've solved that horrible noise the powered car was making. That's okay now, but I've only got 4 carriages, coaches, cars, whatever you want to call them, because the other one, which as you know was faulty, and I've sent it back to Rails of Sheffield and I'm just waiting for them to come back to me either with a replacement or a repair. Now if you remember, excuse me, if you remember, I said that it was missing one of these silver boxes here, and very kindly I've had many comments saying that that's how the third coach should be. It shouldn't have that silver box there. It's to do with the toilets, and this one here, which has a toilet in here, uses that box there for it. So the third car doesn't have a silver box, it's just plain at each end. But so it wasn't missing at all, it wasn't meant to be there. The problem being was that the bogie was broken, so it had to go back anyway for either a repaired bogie or a replacement coach. So that is still in limbo at the moment. I'm still waiting for that to come back to me. Once that's done, then I shall have a complete Class 800 again. It still runs fine. I don't need that coach as such, it's just that it's a bit shorter than normal. So that takes care really of the lighting of that area there, kind of central area really, isn't it? I was thinking about putting a light underneath that area there, but I don't know yet, I'm not sure, I might do. It's just so to allow passengers still can see when they're walking along that section of the platform. So I may put a light underneath there. Right, let's crack on with some other things. Okay, the bus. I have now installed front lights on here which do work, and I've installed one rear light. I've still got the second rear light to do. They work, but I thought that I'd be able to power it from the internal batteries, but I can't because these are 2.4, the LEDs are 3 volt, and there's not enough power in the battery to power the lights, which is unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. So I've got a small round battery which will power them, and it works. I've tested it. So from Kite's Lights, they also do a battery holder, so I should get that from them, plus a little micro switch to operate the lights. So that's to come. The van will be treated in the same way, so I should be ordering. I've got enough lights. I just need to order another battery and battery holder for that. If we move along here, my cube, Polaroid cube, has packed up. Well, that's not strictly true. It hasn't packed up. It works fully. It records, but the main thing which it won't do is this is the Wi-Fi button just here. And I was having problems with this when I went to see Jeff over at Tram Junction. It was working kind of. You power up and sometimes it would come on, sometimes it wouldn't. Now it's coming on okay, but the Wi-Fi, or rather not the Wi-Fi, it connects to the Wi-Fi, but the app doesn't recognise the cube. So I did some Googling, and apparently it seems like if you've updated your iOS system, it buggers up the app. So the app is absolutely not working at all now. You see it in front of you, but it just keeps saying camera not connected, camera not connected. And even though I see the Wi-Fi, it's still saying it can't connect. So it's an app issue rather than the camera, which is a shame. So I dug out my Foxeer Legend 2 camera. As you can see, there's quite a bit of difference in size, but it still works fine, and it's a great little camera. It's just the clunkiness of it, really. It's the size of it, but I can still do track cam videos, and I can place it on the platform like so to get some decent shots. I can still get into reasonably tight situations, unlike the cube where I could get into really tight situations. So that's the difference really with it. I will see if I can find another app for it rather than the Polaroid app, and see if I can get something from that. But if not, I can just use the Foxeer Legend. Right, so that's that. Right, the DCC Concepts connectors for the going on to the axles of coach wheels. I'm going to be doing one of these this afternoon actually, because I want to try it out. So this mess here is what I did originally. This is going back 2, maybe 3 years now. So I made up, if I can get it in the light, I made up my own springs out of wire to go across the axle and then connect it up. And inside here I have a little PCB with a capacitor and a stay alive on it, to stop any light flicker. So it's not just straight going onto lights. There is a little PCB inside which corrects all the light flicker. So all I have to do, because that's all in place, is to take these wheel sets off and replace these ones I made with the proper DCC concept versions. I mean, it works up to a fashion. I say it works up to, it does work. And this is the buffet car, and you can see that I've detailed the inside of the buffet car. I've put meals on the tables, tablecloths, people. I've even put flooring inside, carpet. I've dressed up the bar. And I've got passengers waiting at the bar. And I've got people serving behind the bar too. And if I turn it round, and you can see a waiter there at that end. If I turn it round and put it on, and you should be able to see it, and there you can see the barman behind the bar. And I've painted the inside of the bar, fridge, etc. So it's quite detailed inside, and all the coaches are like that. They've all got their, you can possibly just make out some flooring there. And all the other teak coaches are the same. So I'm hoping that I can crack on and do 2 or 3 of those this afternoon. That's that. And I guess the pièce de résistance is that. So my servo has come. That came Friday. And so today I've wired up the 2 megapoint controllers. That's the actual controller for controlling the servo, and that is a DCC board, so that connects to the Z21, and then that gets connected to the controller, and then from the controller you then put in a servo. After you've done all that, you've obviously then got to program it onto the Z21. And so here's my Z21, and you can see a picture of the lift. Let's turn it around so I'm not in the light. So there you can see a picture of the lift, and I've just put in an icon for a point because that's basically all it is. So if I touch that, the winch goes round, and if I come back, it then goes in reverse. So the way this is going to work is that I'm going to get another one of these wheels, and you put some cord around the wheel. You come down to another one of those, but only the wheel, not the servo. So you get a loop of cord going, and the outer shield here is to stop the cord coming off the drum. So you wrap the cord around the drum, put the shield on, and do the same for the other wheel. So you get this loop, and then that loop will then be attached to the 2 wires onto the lift, and so it will go up and it will go down. The great thing about this, the actual controller, is that from this series of 4 buttons here, I can alter the speed, and I can also alter the amount of turn this takes. So this is a 2-turn servo, so it goes round in normal practice twice. I can, with a combination of pressing these 4 switches, I can make this go a quarter of a turn, or however much I want, so I can get the exact height the lift goes up and down. So that is going to work out terrific. So my next job really is to mount these 3 components onto a piece of MDF and mount that underneath the baseboard where the lift is, allowing for another spare one of these for the top loop to go back here. And then once I've got that, that should be it. So all I'm after now, which I've ordered yesterday, is another spare one of these, plus some yacht rigging cord to go around here, and then that should be it. And it's just going to be fun trying to fit it, but I think I've got past the hard part, which is this part, for me anyway, because it's circuit boards, wires, electrics, which really are a big no-no for me, but somehow I've managed to figure it out, and as you can see, it works, and very nicely does too. So pleased with that. So that's that, and I think that is probably about it. I'm sure there's some more things I've done, can't remember, but for the moment then I think that is about it. So it's getting there slowly, but it is getting there. That's the important part, and I can see this really coming along strong now. and it's kind of building up to a situation where I can then do other things, like the central reservation in the middle here. I lifted this road up during the week so that I could get to the wiring, or not to get to the wiring, but to put the wiring in place to hide it all. I've actually gone back to the back of all the houses or buildings, and if you remember a few videos ago, I did say that I'd left a space at the back here for that very reason. It was intentional that I brought this back scene forward so that I had space down the back, so that when buildings went on I could feed cable through the back of the back scene and down and underneath. I had to lift the road up to install the police car, which was just a case of lifting the road up, to be honest. It wasn't any issue as such. There was nothing to disconnect. It just lifted up as I had planned. And I've planned that so that if anything untoward happened as regards derailments within the fiddle yard, don't forget I've got 4 lines of storage underneath here. If anything happened underneath there, I can just lift that road up and sort it out. So that's it, I'm afraid. Still lots and lots and lots to do, obviously, but that's all the fun of it, isn't it? I'm really, really pleased with the way this is coming on. What I will do is, if I turn the lights off, you'll get an idea of how this looks. Now, if I turn the lights off, it's going to look probably horrendously bright on the camera, but don't worry about it, because it actually isn't. It's just a nice glow in real life. And I think that's working out great. Really like that scene. And if you can imagine the other buildings lit up along here, then I think that's going to look rather splendid. And I actually love this area, the way this porter's light is on, and this guy has got 2 lights up above him so he can see what he's doing in the dark. I've got so many things to do. I've got much more as regards people going on the platform. I've run out of people now. I've got shelters to put in, whole load of stuff. But there you go, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's not going to be finished for a long time, but that's great. I don't want it to be finished, to be honest. I'm so enjoying myself doing this. So there's a reasonably good view of how it's looking at the moment. Okay, so that's about it. So I will shut this down now and finish. Thank you very much for watching if you've got this far, and have a great weekend, or what's left of it, and I will speak to you again either during the week or at the weekend. Okay, so bye for now. Bye bye.